Mythical monsters in ancient Greek mythology. The Cerberus are three-headed canid guard dogs of the underworld in Tartarus. They are one of the most well-known and widespread of the hellhounds. They have immense strength and magical ability. During the early days of the universe, the mother and father of monsters, Echidna and Typhon, settled in the underworld, and together had many children. The second eldest child was a three-headed canid creature they named Cerberus, the Alpha Cerberus. Cerberus was eventually adopted by Hades, god of the underworld. Cerberus grew older quickly and had children with many other hellhounds, spawning hundreds of other three-headed canid creatures, similar in appearance to their father. Those children had children of their own with each other until a new species was formed. Cerberus are large and powerful variation of hellhound dogs of the underworld. Unlike most hellhounds, the Cerberus has three heads on their enlarged bodies. They are muscular creatures by default. Their front bodies wider and stronger than their backs in order to support their large heads full of sharp teeth. Their bodies are large and covered with spiny thorn-like fur and snake scales and unique patterns. Instead of furred dog tail, Cerberus possesses long smooth serpentine tail. They are very protective beings, having the primary job of making sure lost souls do not leave the underworld, and that the living cannot enter. However, Cerberus are mostly used for intimidation, and rarely attack beings, especially the living. Cerberus can easily be tamed or distracted by giving them large hunks of meat or big dog toys. Despite the size and initial threat of the Cerberus, many of them are simply large puppies waiting and willing to play. Hellhounds are fiery canid creatures native to the underworld. They are larger, stronger, and more intelligent than other canid. Cerberus have heightened olfactory senses. They can detect and track down any creature living or dead through smell alone. Their large bodies and four legs allows the Cerberus to run at great speed. Easily able to chase down escaped souls, Cerberus are very long-lived creatures, the eldest being only a few million years younger than the universe itself. The Cerberus are resistant against heat and fire. Even magma has the same properties as water for them. Their skin is some of the toughest in the magical community, impervious to all blades and resilient to melee weapons. The center head of the Cerberus, the largest and most intelligent of the three, can breathe fire through channeling magic, and turning it into heat exited through the mouth. Cerberus can separate their three heads into three separate hellhounds. These three hellhounds can act independently of each other, but cannot be more than a few meters from each other. The Harpies, or Harpies, were the spirits of sudden sharp gusts of wind. They were known as the Hounds of Zeus, and were dispatched by the god to snatch away, for Podso, people and things from the earth. Sudden mysterious disappearances were often attributed to the Harpies. The Harpies were once sent by Zeus to plague King Phineus of Thrace, as punishment for revealing the secrets of the gods. Whenever a plate of food was set before him, the Harpy would swoop down and snatch it away, befouling any scraps left behind. When the Argonauts came to visit, the winged Boread gave chase and pursued the Harpies to the Strophiades Islands, where the god Osiris commanded them to turn back and leave the storm spirits unharmed. The Harpies were depicted as winged women, sometimes with ugly faces or with the lower bodies of birds. Griffins are often seen guarding treasures and gold. This role highlights their attributes of vigilance and loyalty, as well as the trust placed in them by the gods. One famous Greek legend speaks of Griffins guarding the gold mines of the Scythians in the vast steppes of the north. These Griffins were fiercely protective, attacking anyone daring enough to attempt stealing the gold. The Griffins had notable adversaries known as the Arimaspians. This myth involves a one-eyed tribe from the north, who battled with Griffins to steal the gold that the creatures guarded. This myth highlights the Griffins' symbolism as protectors of divine or sacred possessions, showcasing their relentless strength and determination to guard what is entrusted to them. A griffin is used symbolically to represent Christ's dual nature, divine and human, with the eagle representing divinity and the lion signifying humanity. In the epic poem, the griffin pulls the chariot of the divine mystical rose into the earthly paradise. which Dante equates to divine revelation and truth. This portrayal highlights the Griffin's role as a guardian of sacred truths and divine mysteries. Hydra. In Greek legend, the offspring of Typhon and Echidna. A gigantic water snake-like monster with 9 heads, one of which was immortal. The monster's haunt was the marshes of Lerna near Argos, from which he periodically emerged to harry the people and livestock of Lerna. Anyone who attempted to behead the Hydra found that as soon as one head was cut off, 2 more heads would emerge from the fresh wound. The destruction of the Lernaean Hydra became one of the 12 labors of Heracles. For that and other labors, Heracles enlisted the aid of his nephew Iolaus. As Heracles severed each mortal head, Iolaus was set to the task of cauterizing the fresh wounds so that no new heads would emerge. When only the immortal head remained, Heracles cut it off too and buried it under a heavy rock. He dipped his arrows in the beast's poisonous blood to be able to inflict fatal wounds. According to Sophocles, Trachinian women, that measure eventually caused his own accidental death at the hands of his wife, Deianira. A Cyclops, meaning circle-eyed, is a one-eyed giant first appearing in the mythology of ancient Greece. The Greeks believed that there was an entire race of Cyclopes, who lived in a faraway land without law and order. Homer, in his Iliad, describes the Cyclopes as pastoral but savage, typical of the strange creatures the Greeks created to represent foreign societies not regarded as civilized as themselves. The Cyclopes are not without talents, though, and are credited with manufacturing the thunderbolts which Zeus used as a terrible throwing weapon and as the builders of gigantic fortification walls, such as those still seen at Mycenaean sites today. The most famous Cyclops is Polyphemus, who captured the Greek hero Odysseus and his men only for them to escape by blinding the poor giant. Cyclopes, and particularly the Odysseus story, were popular and enduring subjects in all forms of Greek and Roman art. Hesiod names 3 Cyclopes as Brontes, thunder; Serapis, lightning; and Argus, bright. This group would go on to father more of their kind, although the trio was later killed by Apollo in revenge for Zeus' murder of his son Asclepius, the demigod and master of medicine. The ghosts of the 3 were said to haunt the Mount Etna volcano on Sicily. Indeed, many local Greek traditions associated Cyclopes with volcanoes, perhaps because their craters were reminiscent of the Cyclops' one eye, often described in ancient literature as burning. Hesiod also makes the Cyclopes master craftsmen and assistants to the god Hephaestus, himself the ultimate blacksmith and ingenious inventor, and sometimes resident within Mount Etna.